Ha ha! Yeah! I'm blowing out your earphones! Can you hear me? Alright. It's been a long time. Time for Luke's Questions, Part 2. Question number 4. Do you stay in touch with your old staff? Mostly not. Sometimes they show up. And the new staff, you haven't met them. And that probably will be how it is. Veronica and Tom are a notable exception. You guys have seen videos of them. They're fantastic human beings. But really, the operation is super simple now. And there's just no giant crew of people to go around and see what they're all doing. So probably going to stay that way. Some of my old experienced artists, they come in to pick up a project every now and again, but it's few and far between. One actually just came by and dropped something off. So there you go. Let's see. Built their own studio. A lot of artists to start. Yeah, that kind of guy that has given a lot of artists a starting point for their profession. So here's the deal. I've had a lot of miniatures painters approach me over the years and say, hey, how did you get started? What's your thing? They saw me, of course, doing it, seeing that it could be a real thing. And now, of course, there's a zillion studios. I don't go out and look at what other people are doing. I keep my head down, I focus on what I'm doing, and that's worked out pretty great so far. So anyway, so in 2 cases, the first one being people that have worked for me. Way back when, I used to read a lot of business books, because of course I was building a business empire. And one of them was Pride and Performance by Les Schwab, which is a tire company owner in the Pacific Northwest. I think they have stores like all over now. And I always really liked Les Schwab as a customer, and after I read the book, I really liked a lot of the ideas that I was seeing. And one of his ideas was that he wanted to build a company where someone could come in and just by working there and doing right by the company, they could buy a house and some land and get themselves really established. And I wanted to build that too. It didn't happen, obviously, and I think a part of that is it's the age of the internet, age of gig economy. I don't think the technology of the internet is done with our society yet. We're still sort of, as a human race, coming to grips with it. And it certainly affected the emerging and still emerging industry of miniatures, assembly, and painting. And the chips haven't fallen yet. So to go back, because I tried to basically take an 80s corporate model and build up this official structure, and it's just not compatible with how it really is. I don't know, maybe a better man than I will come along and actually build something amazing. But that's not me. Right now, Blue Table Painting is in the form that I would like it to be in. It's beautiful. It's efficient. I'm doing great by my relatively small base of return customers. And it's fantastic. So I've gone for smaller and more meaningful, but in a different direction than your typical boutique painter, who is more often than not a soloist, really. And let's see here. So if somebody that worked for me somehow was doing well because they got a start, or somehow they got some formulation from what I had built, I would be happy. I would consider that a success for me personally and for the company that I built. It would be really fantastic. So it makes me happy. Makes me happy. And it is nice to hear from old staff, and sometimes indirectly I hear, you know, so-and-so got married, or for example, I know my old art director, John, and Tara, front desk girl Tara. She was, those two got married now, so I got an invitation and also a thank you card, and they're doing good, and I hope they continue to do well. It makes me happy. All right, to continue. I work with artists, and a lot of them seem to suffer from self-confidence issues. That is absolutely for sure. And my advice is, put your work out there, do it every day, be prolific, and just turn the comments off. And I found actually a good thing to do is turn the comments off and say, hey, if you'd like to give me some feedback, send me an email. And you'd be surprised when it's not anonymous and frivolous, people will actually send you some well thought out things like this. Thanks, Luke. All right. Yeah. Oh, I had some water here. Good thing too. So good. All right. Let us continue. How much archived videotape do you have? Could you do a top 5 coolest project or 5 strangest, biggest, expensive projects, even if you don't have pictures or video? It would still be cool. Well, first off, I do have a lot of archived video, a huge amount, but it's mostly from ye olden days. Nowadays, I just upload it and I rarely make backups. Because guess what? New is interesting. Do something new, Sean. And in terms of projects, memorable projects, oh man, I'm so jaded. If you go on the channel, anything with over 30,000 views typically is, you know, that turned into something. Me personally, I'd like to answer this in terms of type of project. I love projects where it's one or a handful of very interesting models. Usually larger Forge World stuff tends to catch people's eyes. Josephus, one of my old art directors, was a genius, an absolute genius, whose mark on this company lasts to this day. He did some Titans. He did like these 3 large Titans, and they were just genius. Why didn't I turn my ringer off? Oh, guys, I really got to get this. All right, well, that was the last question, so I will see you later. Blue Table Painting.